Hello there, Simon here at heartosteopathy.com. Happy New Year, hope this finds you well. I have been seeing a few patients in the new year, and I found myself talking with them about the core and what it is and what it does and why one should or shouldn't train it. And interestingly, a couple of things that came up was I need to get rid of the excess of Christmas and New Year. And the other thing that came up was, everyone's talking about the core, and so I'm training my core, and I'm doing a lot of sit-ups and a lot of crunches, and therefore it's very good. And it is wonderful to move and to exercise and to strengthen the abs and that kind of stuff. A couple of things that I would say with regards to these two elements. One is you cannot choose where you burn fat from, annoyingly. So if you want to lose fat from your tummy, then doing crunches is going to be no better at burning that than doing squats or doing shoulder presses or strengthening any other area of your body. Whenever muscles need energy, they take it from wherever in the body, it goes into the bloodstream, and then it's delivered wherever it needs to be delivered. So you can't burn fat locally at all. What you can do probably is tone certain muscles. So a muscle at rest is going to be, is going to have that little bit of give. So if we look at my tricep there, not very much fat there, and there's still a gentle wobble at my tricep just because it's relaxed. And if I contract it, then the wobble goes away. But a relaxed muscle has got that slight wobble. That's not fat, that's muscle. It's got a wobble. That's how it is. That's what and it's perfectly fine. So what you might be able to do, what feels like tightening and burning fat locally, is increasing the resting tone of the muscle. Doesn't burn fat locally, but that might be something that you see. And then the other thing that's interesting is, we think about the core, we talk about the core. I don't know how much we think about it generally, but if we were to think about it, what is the core? And we're thinking about the six-pack. So your six-pack, rectus abdominis, attaches at the bottom of the rib cage there, and then here at the front of the pelvis, and it's essentially a strip of muscle that goes from here to there. And so if you think about this being very strong, it's gonna potentially pull you forward, and that's its job. But if we think about what's happening to the spine and to the rest of your body, then maybe they're not that closely connected. When I think about the core, I think about your upper body having to balance on top of your lower body through a single columnar bone. And that's the only bony element that's connecting your upper and lower body is that single columnar bone. And so if you think about this being stable, you need a whole bunch of guy ropes, if you will, of structures all the way around it to hold this thing as stably as possible. So when I think about core muscles, I think about muscles in this midsection that are controlling movement from the upper body to the lower body and vice versa. So it's muscles that are controlling forward bending, backward bending, side bending, and also rotation. So any exercise that controls rotation or side bending or flexion and extension from one part of your body relative to the other part of your body is going to strengthen your core. So if we think about it, if you want to control that backward bending, you could do things like rowing movement, and then you're going to strengthen the muscles at the back there. If you wanted to add this element of rotation or controlling rotation, you could think about pulling a cable or something on one side only, and then you control that rotation. So these two exercises would be good ones to strengthen the back. A very important muscle at the back is the glutes. They join in with membranes of tissue along the low back. They act a bit like a sail. When you're sailing and you tighten the sail and you go faster, it improves stability to tighten it. I don't know how this explanation stands, but anyway, it is quite an important part of your anatomy that will strengthen the low back and help stabilize sheets of ligamentous sheets along the low back, if you will. So strengthening the glutes are fantastic. Again, we're thinking squats, again, a wonderful way of controlling, your upper body kind of falling forward. If you have to control that, you control that flexion, that's a lovely strengthening exercises. You can do glutes, kickbacks, that kind of things. They're all wonderful. And then again, if you were thinking about controlling the element of rotation, then maybe lunges would be interesting, so one foot going forward, etc. If we think about the size of your body, controlling side bending, we are thinking, side plank is your classic. You can jazz it up a bit by moving the top leg forwards and backwards to prevent you're having to manage rotation in the middle there to prevent yourself from falling forwards or backwards. So these are all good exercises. And then thinking about the front, obviously front crawl, push-ups, etc. But again, what's interesting is to add an element of rotation to it whenever you're training this. So for example, when you do a plank, maybe lift one foot and then maybe lift the other, or lift one arm and then maybe lift the other, and that kind of thing. And so controlling this rotation is going to really strengthen this area of your body. In terms of training rotation, you can also think about front crawl or back crawl. What's particularly interesting there is that you're having to, you're moving the arms at a different pace than what you're moving the feet, and so having to coordinate this is going to make the spine very, very clever. And then we're thinking about the hip flexors, namely the psoas muscle, which attaches on either sides of the lumbar spine and then onto the inside of the top of the femur there, onto this little bony prominence. And again, we're thinking, front plank is going to do this. Interestingly enough, crunches are going to do this probably. So these are all good exercises. Not the danger, I would say, but maybe where there might be a bit of an imbalance there is if we make that rectus abdominis, that muscle at the front here, between the bottom of the sternum and the front of the pelvis, very strong. You can see how this shortens. We're going to lose this natural backward arch of the spine. And I've seen a few clients where they walk in and their overall posture from being at a desk a lot of their time is they've lost that kind of natural backward arch there that they can stand on top, and they're kind of drawn forward. And I wonder how much doing a lot of crunches and strengthening the front of the body quite a lot, I'm wondering how this contributes to potentially that pattern. And then suddenly they find themselves there. This is very strong. This is what they work on. This is where they want to lose the weight. And this is the core, and this is very important. Everyone's talking about it. And suddenly they kind of walk in and they go, I've got neck ache from it being compressed, and I've got pain here from these muscles really trying to keep me upright, but they can't because this is so strong. And so if that's your case, I'm not saying don't train the front. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is don't forget that you also have sides, that you also have back, and that if you're looking for stability and spinal health and coordination, this rectus abdominis, this muscle at the front, is actually potentially quite far from the spine, and you're probably better off doing the exercises that we were talking about earlier, controlling movement between the upper and lower body. So that's the pattern that I've seen a fair bit there. This kind of pull forward, and so we're usually trying to get people to to expand and to lift and to breathe, and that's where potentially stretches like the cobra or the upward dog, kind of opening this space there can be quite beneficial. But it's not the crunches and abs aren't the be all and all of the core. There's a lot more to it, and if this is potentially your pattern, maybe slow down a bit on this front and focus maybe on other muscles where you can open up the chest and then work on muscles that are closer to the spine. Just a few thoughts for you with discussions I've had with patients in the last few days. I hope you find it interesting, and if you're looking for a core workout that trains the muscles that we've just discussed that you can do from home, I'll put the links in this video. I hope that was fun. See you soon. Take care.